What do you think of when you think of the U.S. forests?
I mean, I grew up in the Tahoe National Forest, in Forest Hill, actually. So it was always a huge part of my growing up my home life. In the mountains, I utilize the national forest whenever I go out. Huge camper. I love Rainier Olympics. Um, I don't know. They definitely are necessary. I don't know. I never really think about it too much, I guess.
Were you or other people you know affected by the fires this recent summer, and how were they affected?
This recent summer, I didn't know anyone. I did play basketball against a lot of against the Paradise schools and stuff. So it was definitely very strange to hear about the fires. I did have to check in with a lot of my family in the area to make sure they were okay. We would get evacuated almost every year when I was growing up because of the wildfires. So I feel like I'm kind of desensitized to it until recently it's becoming more detrimental.
Yeah, I mean, do you feel like they're getting worse, or
I
they're a
do,
problem?
definitely. I think climate change definitely has affected the wildfires and how they're changing the environment, especially for wildlife. A lot of wildlife that live in the canyon are then forced into towns. So that's something that's been affecting my hometown. Is a lot of mountain lions and stuff are coming into new hunting grounds. They have a 30-mile radius, and getting into chicken coops and stuff. And that's something that's much more noticeable as years go by.
Do you think we should do something to try to mitigate the damage of the fires, or try to prevent them in some ways?
Most definitely. Most definitely. I feel like it's just, everything is being a factor of climate change, right? So if we take control of climate change, then we can probably stop wildfires from happening. Definitely funding things like, forestry services so that they can kind of clean out the forest so that the fires don't happen is definitely something that I'm an advocate for.
Yeah, I mean, who would you say is responsible for what's been happening? I guess in terms of who's responsible in the potentially
Well, the government
need
should,
for
yeah,
management.
the government should fund like different forestry services so that they can be prevented. The state of California, for example, has a great forestry service, Cal Fire and stuff, and they do an awesome job cleaning the forests up, doing controlled burns so that these things don't happen. But I'm not sure if that's a national, occurrence, and I'm not sure how their funding is right now. It's been years since I've lived down there.
Well, it sounds like you do know about some of those management techniques that people talk about, and you said you would advocate for some of those management techniques.
Yes, definitely.
Do you feel like there's a role the timber industry could play in doing some of that?
The timber industry. I think so. I'm not sure. I'm not an expert, so I'm not sure what they already are doing, but I feel like if they could make an impact, then that would be beneficial for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think of when you think of the timber industry?
Deforestation, basically, which is
Do you think of any positive aspects, or how we might rely on them as well?
yeah, definitely. And I know that there are a lot of they replant a lot of farms and stuff, but I'm not an expert, so I'm not sure, you know.
No, that's great. I think you answered all my questions very well.
All
I
right.
really appreciate you talking
Of
to us.
course,
Thank
thank
you.
you.